has this last week's meditation been? You were here first, Doug, so that's your penalty. You have to talk first.
Oh, no. Well, it was a good week meditating. I'm not quite to Cheryl's level. She said she was doing it twice a day. I can't do that, but I've tried it just about every day. I think I
Good.
only missed yesterday, and it's been good meditating.
Good. Good. How about you, Cheryl? Since he spoke of you, it's your chance to defend yourself.
I don't meditate twice a day really often. I do manage to do it probably a couple of times a week. My week has been good. I caught your session on interoception. Zoom. I wasn't able to do it I hike on Sundays, so I wasn't able to attend in person, but it was very interesting. It was great.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Now, how about you, Carol?
It was a good week for meditating. I think we meditated it pretty much every day. Yeah.
That's good. Now, one other thing I just want to suggest to all of you is I've found that there are good opportunities to meditate in situations where you wouldn't otherwise. One of them is standing in line at the store when you're waiting is a great chance to meditate. This morning, Carol and I had to go to the bank to get some business done, and it took them an hour and a half to get to us. And for me, actually, that was a good meditation session. And, again, so there you'll find, if you look at it, there may be opportunities to use what otherwise would be kind of dead time and meditate.
Okay, well, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I try to avoid those situations, but
sure,
sometimes they're unavoidable.
Sometimes they're unavoidable. Go ahead, Carol.
While Richard was meditating, I was playing Ain't It Awful with the other English-speaking people at the bank. The worst service in the world. I've never seen worse. HBSC.
But they keep their costs down.
What else?
But anyway, I mean that point seriously. You'll find there are other opportunities. And I think it may be that I had a better experience waiting in the bank this morning than Carol did.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, so enough of the chit chat. Let's get back to the important work that we're doing here today and start with some meditation. Mindfulness is present moment awareness, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Feel your breath in and out. Fully receive whatever is experienced, then let it go. Now, since you just joined us, we're sitting in quiet meditation for a few minutes with basic mindfulness, just watching our thoughts, feeling our thoughts, or excuse me, watching our breath, feeling our breath as it comes in and out. Paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, fully received whatever is experienced, then let it go. All right. And now you see that Barley has joined us. Hello
Barley.
there. Uh, Now, just for the rest of the group, Barley, could you briefly just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your experience with meditation and why you want to do something like this?
Well, I met Richard at the Unitarian, and I loved his voice. I thought it was very calming. I don't know, there was something about meditation I wanted to learn to do more. I've been practicing yoga, although that is in the form of asanas, and it's a much larger spectrum than just the exercises, but I do love the body movement. And there is meditation in that. They call it savasana, or the corpse pose, which is at the end of your yoga practice. Sorry I was late. I was having trouble getting in. But thanks for letting me in.
Okay. Well, very good. Welcome. And happy to have you in our group.
Thank you.
Now, we generally kind of check in and then do some meditation, and I talk for a little bit, and then we do some more stuff. And now I'm going to do the talking for a little bit. And today I'm going to talk about sinking into meditation and problems with thoughts that get into the way of that. First, though, from a quote from Ramesh Balkazar: "As water is serene when free of ripples, so is the mind serene when free of thoughts, when it's passive and fully receptive. When quiet, the mind reflects reality. When absolutely motionless, it dissolves and only reality remains." Sinking into meditation means that your mind is going from surface awareness to subtle awareness to interior awareness. This means your attention is moving from physical sensations like your breath to what is more interior, to your thoughts and feelings. Key to this is letting go. A problem when moving past the focus on physical sensations is that when we start noticing our thoughts, it's easy for a thought to get sticky, to hold your attention. It might be a fear, it might be a desire, it might be guilt, it might be an incomplete task or something you think you need to do. It might be an earworm, a song that is stuck in your mind, like Doug talked about last week. You've experienced sinking into meditation and the quiet peace that this brings. Sometimes with meditation so deep, it's like you forget everything. You want it again, but there is this thought that keeps interfering with my peace. So, what can you do? First, these are all thoughts. You can't stop thinking by an act of will. Saying stop. Doing this only generates more thoughts. Instead, can you let go of the thought? Thoughts have only the power that you give them. Can you not power up the thought? Can you acknowledge the thought? Maybe even say thank you. Then say goodbye and let it pass on. That is one way Another way is to start again at paying attention to body sensations, the feel of your breath. Focus on this breath as it moves in and then fills the lungs and then turns from in to out, and feel the air as it moves out. Then it turns again from out to in, and you have restarted the meditation. Sometimes, for me, incomplete things have so plagued me that I stopped meditation and then just completed them and then returned to the meditation. That's okay. Best for me, though, is just to see it's another thought and to know I don't need to do anything about it. Notice it's just another thought, and so it's okay if I release it. There'll be another thought coming soon, so I don't need to keep this one around. If there is some thought that keeps coming back and it's hard to quiet, then there is an advanced technique. First, look into the thought and see where there is you, some sense of your identity, where the idea of you is in the thought. When you look, you will find you somewhere in all of these thoughts that just float up. They are based on the idea of you and your relations to others in the world. When you find this you, then just see how real is it? Is this identity there all the time? Or does it come and go or change over time? Unless it's there all the time, it's not you. Seeing this, maybe you can let go of it. It's not about me or what is important to me. Then, to go further, look at the thought and find an area of happiness that is embedded in the thought. Usually these thoughts are about something we think will make us happy. Once you see this idea of happiness, investigate where happiness really comes from. Is it from things, or is it something that rises up out of myself? If you see that happiness does not come from things associated with this thought, that happiness is really an inside job, then you can more easily just let the thought go. Here are a couple of exercises. One is to sense who you truly are. What are you noticing right now? As you breathe, relax, and feel, invoke a quality of spacious awareness. Sense who you are as a witness. Be like a scientist observing phenomena arising in and around you. Notice the rational mind that serves to compare, judge, and seek understanding. And in your own way, notice the quality of awareness beyond the rational mind. Another approach is to live in the moment as it is. How much more can you allow your experience to be exactly what it is? What would happen if you added nothing to this moment and abandoned the need to change anything? Awareness has been described like a vast, spacious sky. Feelings, thoughts, and sensations constantly change form and shape like weather patterns, clouds passing through. Sense who you are with no preferences. Be present to the process of your life unfolding moment by moment. You are not these thoughts. They arise from the mind. That's what it does. Looking at things, comparing things, predicting possible futures, and then reacting to its predictions as if they were fact. All this goes on without your conscious knowledge. You just get it as a thought, the tip of the iceberg of this unconscious process. You have the power of choosing to react or respond to the thought. Meditation shows you this process and lets you see more of it. As you see more, you have the chance to break the cycle of thought, then reaction to the thought. Meditation slows this down and finally even stops it. That's why we're here. Now, I will talk more about thought in the next session. For now, we're going to watch a video where, guess what? They're talking about thought.
Mindfulness of thoughts. Do you ever find yourself feeling completely distracted by tons of different thoughts running around in your mind, and you don't really know how to get them to stop? This is something that happens to me a lot, and I have a favorite mindfulness practice that helps me to slow down the thoughts in my mind and have a better relationship to them. It's kind of funny, but our thoughts are with us all the time. And so we kind of have like a long-term relationship with the kinds of things that we think about. So today, I want us to try together a practice called mindfulness of thoughts. In this practice, we're going to try meditating on what it is we're thinking about. For this practice, you can do it standing, sitting, or lying down. Whatever will be most comfortable for you, but a position that you don't have to move around in too much while we go through the activity. Take a moment to pick your position, something that feels both stable and at ease. When you find your position, you can close your eyes, or if you prefer, you can pick a point in front of you to focus on. Sometimes closing your eyes will help you to stay focused, so if you are comfortable, I encourage you to do this. And if at any time you need to open your eyes or pause the practice, that's no problem. We're going to begin by focusing all of our attention on the sensation of breathing in and breathing out. Notice what it feels like when the air enters your body, and notice what it feels like to breathe that air back out. At any time during this practice, if you feel your mind getting distracted or you feel a little bit uneasy, you can always return your focus to the sensation of breathing in and out. Your breath is like a good friend supporting you. Now, I'd like to invite you to become aware of any thoughts that are coming into your mind. You might have thoughts where you're remembering a story from the past, or maybe you're thinking about something that's coming up in the future. This is very normal. I had a thought come in just a moment ago like this. What I want to invite you to do is take a moment to label the thoughts when they come up. See if instead of getting caught in a thought and following the story all the way to the end, you can simply label it like worry, or planning, or remembering. I'm going to give you a few moments now of silence. And I want to invite you, as thoughts come in, to see if you can be the labeler, the observer of the thoughts. Notice each one when it comes in, and as soon as you notice it, give it a label. And then see if you can return to the feeling of breathing in and out. Each time, label, return to breath. Okay, try this for a few minutes on your own. Now that we've spent a few moments labeling our thoughts, see how it feels. Did you get lost in a thought, or were you able to come back to your breath after you labeled them? It's okay if you found this challenging. It's very natural to get distracted by our thoughts. But what we're doing here is trying to build up our mindfulness skills so that our thoughts take us away less, and we can become more observers of what's going on in our mind. Okay, now I want us to try one other way of noticing our thoughts that can help us to not get caught in them. What we're going to do this time is we're going to imagine that our mind is like the giant sky. Imagine our mind is the blue sky, and our thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They form gently and they drift by. But we don't get caught in them. We don't follow them. We are the person lying on the grass, looking up at the big blue sky. We notice the clouds, and then we let them gently drift away. I'm going to give you a few moments on your own to try this. See what it's like, especially if there's a thought that keeps trying to pull you. To allow that thought to be a gentle cloud in the sky, and then imagine it slowly drifting away as you continue to lie on the grass, just as the observer of the cloud. Okay, try this for a few moments, and anytime you feel yourself getting too distracted, remember you can come back to the sensation of breathing in and out. Take a few moments now to observe your mind like the sky, with the thoughts gently drifting away as clouds. Okay. Let's come back now to the sensation of breathing in and out. After expanding our mind to notice our thoughts, we may feel more calm if we were able to let them drift away, but maybe we got really caught in a thought and went all the way down the story and forgot that we were even doing a mindfulness practice. That is okay. But what I want you to do now is just take a few moments to bring your mind back down out of the clouds and really anchor it in that sensation of breathing in and out. Take a few moments now to see if you can let go of any thoughts and simply breathe in and out for a few moments. On your next out breath, I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. Thank you for trying this mind observing experiment. And remember, we don't have to fix or change our thoughts, but sometimes just observing them from a distance, like we would the clouds in the sky, or labeling them like we would a file, can help us to have a little bit more perspective on our thoughts instead of getting caught up in them.
Now, she talked about labeling, and this labeling is a common thing that is taught in mindfulness. The idea is to put a label on a thought or a feeling that goes by. This labeling is a way to give you some distance from the thought or the feeling, to be the observer, not to be the one in the middle of these thoughts. And now we are going to meditate again for a few minutes. And breathing in, I feel energy spreading through my body. Breathing out, I feel calmness move throughout my body. All right. And now we'll close with a short chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. All right. Now, are there any questions, comments, discussion?
Well, when I'm sitting here and I'm hearing the gardeners in the neighborhood, I start thinking about that sound. So I suppose I have to push that through. Is that what you do with sounds that you hear?
What I've learned to do with sound is not to try to block them out. That doesn't work.
Right.
It's just somehow get to the place where it's okay. The problem
It's
is not
okay.
with the sound, it's still with how react to it. Sometimes with a sound, if it's going on for a while, I really focus on it and just let the whole sound fill me up. And for me, that makes it easier to then just be able to let go of it. Sometimes it's hard, especially in Mexico.
A lot of sounds, yeah. Well, fortunately, it wasn't or isn't disagreeable. It's just there.
Well, sometimes it may be disagreeable. Barking dogs and motorcycles are some of my favorites. Now, Barley, for the next week, what I want you to do is first, for meditation to be effective, it really needs to be a daily practice.
Yes.
And that means that to begin with, you need to figure out what time is best for you. And some people are best in the morning, some are best in the afternoon, some are best in the evening, but to find for you, which is the time where you can approach it, have good mental energy, because meditation while you're sitting there doing nothing is a lot of work. And so it takes the energy. The other part of it is find a regular place, because this regular place and the regular time are one of the ways that you help create that as a habit. And for a lot of people, the way they get to have a regular meditation practice is they make it some kind of daily habit.
I agree.
And
I have been watching the videos, chapter 1 and chapter 2. So
oh, very good.
Yeah, they were delightful.
Okay. Any other comments, discussions? You look like you're ready, Doug.
I really like that picture of the moon. I usually close my eyes to meditate, but I'm generally just fairly fascinated by the moon.
Okay.
So I just meditated with my eyes open and focused on my breathing, and that way I kept myself from howling.
Yeah.
And
very good. Now, the pictures I have right now in the last couple of weeks, I'm bet nobody noticed them. They all feature reflections. And the reason for that is that when I was in my early 20s, I figured out what was wrong in my life. which was, of course, me. And my mother was a therapist. And so what she did is she wanted me to go to a psychiatrist. I worked for IBM and they had great medical coverage and all of it was paid for. So it was free. And the psychiatrist turned out to be a Zen practitioner. And a lot of our psychiatry sessions were him having me visualize the calm water that everything reflects perfectly in. So that's the basis for the pictures I'm choosing for the meditation now.
Okay.
Sounds like it worked well.
Anyway, very good. It was a good session and we'll see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste. See you.
And adios.
Adios.